So light mono low key might be cracked in terms of what we have right now to what it's coming. So obviously with the light typing and the light units and in general light mono, the next unit that is going to be releasing to support light in that perfect way is going to be Chahan. Now we know that with her release she is going to be that attacking role and she is going to be working in favor of working towards crits. So her crit rate is going to go up, her crit damage is going to go up, she's going to be critting, which means high amount of damage, and that is exactly what we want, and that's kind of exactly what we need for a attacking light unit. Because as it stands right now, light is stacked with defense. Well, I say, yeah, well, no, technically yes, defense, but tank, tank, tank. Now, truth be told, Yunho does a perfectly good job in terms of tanking, but also doing a ton of damage. Obviously, Junho himself, I have used him out. I will go on and play just in a second. Junho is pretty much like a solo tank, like a one-man tank, a bit selfish, I would say. You know, still a solid unit, I'll give him that, but yeah, upon maxing him out, yeah, yeah. I think in terms of a tank, if I had to choose through SRs, I am sticking to my gun, and I will say Kim is the more desirable unit to go with when it comes to SR tanks, in terms of helping out the team, doing the role, breaking, and just providing a ton of support. And then with that, of course, you've got Chahan's support in terms of, well, realistically, we do need the initial dude. Yeah, all team members' critical hit rate and critical hit damage increases by 8% and increases to 12% for light team members. So realistically, technically it still works as using him as support in terms of the heals, but we also get the punishment debuff, so we can do that 15% more damage. But realistically with the healer, it's that first dupe that we kind of need for him to start actually supporting her that even further in terms of her kit. But regardless, still an amazing unit. So like light already is stacked. Again, yeah, I'm just gonna pretend you don't exist. So would I recommend you summoning for Chahan, knowing her kit, knowing how she's coming into the game? And truth be told, just to keep it straight with you, yes, I truly do believe that she is an amazing character. Clearly, she is a character that is needed for the light typing, because obviously as of right now, as I've showed you at the very beginning, we've got 3 tanks, we've got a healer, we have a mage, but we're not going to talk about it. So when it comes to that full-on offensive, I mean, Yunho himself is kind of holding it down, truth be told, but to have an attacking unit, I think it just helps out that little bit more in terms of team building. To also come in and be built off and have a kit built off from crits, that could be huge in terms of damage, clearly. And again, to have support for that through the healer, that's even better, because that's kind of helping. I mean, because technically speaking, at that point, the only thing you really need to cater to is just having a defense build, and light typing has defense locked down. So to have all of that pushing for the support for Chahan, I do believe for light mono, she is the character that's kind of missing. She is the puzzle to maximize light mono. That's the unit that we need, basically. So for everyone's account, I truly do believe she's going to do fantastic. Even if you don't have, I mean, yeah, as long as you've got like the SR Kim, then that's your defense sorted. If you're lacking light power, she is your light power, right? Also to take note of is that with I'll probably speak more about it in depth in the next video, but obviously with characters looking into their kit, that's just one thing. In the future, there is going to be stipulations put in place in terms of the character's guild, their roles, their typing. There's a lot to factor in on what game mode will allow you to use certain characters. So to have variety is going to help you out, and to have an attacking light unit, because technically speaking she's going to be the first, because we've got tank, mage and healer. We don't have any attacking. She is going to be that picture perfect light attacking unit to come in, and of course we can help her out and support her by building up her crits. And so I truly do believe that she's going to come in hitting hard and achieving some stupid numbers. Truth be told, again, especially if you're a crit machine kit, right? So is it worth something for her? 100%, no doubt in my mind. Light has already got so many good supports. bringing her into your team will just elevate Light. Because as of right now, I stand by this, Light right now is looking like the best with the release of Chahan. When she drops in, I think we'll see some craziness going on with Light Mono. That, and it's going to make life a whole lot easier grinding out certain events. I will promise you that. That's what we need. That's the one thing that we're lacking. She is coming in providing that damage boost. Truth be told, with the release of Chahan, Light, I think, is going to be the first typing to pretty much have a complete package. Because, of course, if we're now looking into it from also Jinwoo's perspective, is that, you know, he's got a light shotgun that is the only weapon that breaks and does a high amount of damage. So obviously, if you've seen the fight that I did going against Ingress in the hardest difficulty stage the game has to offer, I was consistently breaking. But still, the weapon choices for Light in terms of Jinwoo, of course, again, complete package. Once we have that, Light is technically speaking complete and covered in all bases. And including in terms of obviously running in a situation where we need it for support for Jinwoo, of course, spot on. Now, I don't know what furthermore her support skill will provide in terms of damage, potentially some crits. I mean, that would help us out in terms of if we do choose to run a crit build, of course. Although that's not exactly desired, since we're here to do raw damage. But still, I mean, to be fair, if you really look about it, in terms of in this situation, we've got punishment, which is making it so that the enemy takes 15% more damage. Oh my god, this shotgun is beasting. We have got the defense drop from Yunho, of course, which will, I think it's a 20% defense drop. So outside of that, whatever Chahan will bring towards her support, even if it is just plain damage, that's still going to be a high amount of damage that we need. Because you've got to think at it, well, the way I'm kind of looking at her is from like choice perspective. Because, you know, for a fire typing, you know, if you look at his kit itself, it really isn't really doing much other than damage. But his damage output is ridiculous. And if you can pile on all those debuffs, then you can only expect the numbers that he'll be achieving, right? And it will be a great amount of damage. So, I mean, right now, you know, I was lucky enough to get 2 dupes on my choice. So I think I've got like +2. And his damage output is just something that I can't ignore, and that at times in certain fights where, you know, maybe there's no fire advantage, I will take him just because I know he has raw damage. And so that's kind of how I'm looking at it when Chahan drops. So yeah, be prepared for her. She is going to be a character which you do not want to miss out on. I don't know how it works in terms of going about getting these premium characters, because I say that we know that Choi is going to have a rerun banner, so I assume that if you don't pull them through the banner, then you have to wait for a rerun, and there's no other ways to kind of go about getting them, because they probably won't be in the banner again. Maybe, I don't know, we'll have to wait and see after the Choi banner disappears, because if he is on the premium rate up banner when whoever the next character might be, Chahan or even Alicia, then okay, fair play, we've got means to get them, although it will be a low rate chance, but I mean, still, we've got a chance to get them in the next banner. But if they choose to make them exclusive, then I highly recommend you guys pulling. Jesus, can we just... Okay, where am I shooting? Okay, there we go. Bruh. From that distance, 270k. Alright, I ain't complaining. Again, if you're lacking in lights, and let's say, even if you've got Junho as like your other light unit, of course, she is just going to be that perfect fit. Now, obviously, when Global does release, she might be like the first banner that releases rather than Choi, and Choi might come out at a later time. But the way it kind of came about now with early access, everyone rerolled and decided to go to get Choi, purely because this man's power is high up there, and so he can push through content. And so with Chahan releasing, and now and obviously she herself having crits, and keep in mind there's more within her kit itself, because Choi is just kind of plain bland, but he packs a punch. He packs an absolute punch, right? It's just kind of plain. Whereas Chahan is having crit rate, crit damage. I believe there's something called Brand, which allows her to do more damage. And as I've mentioned, there's more support for light as there is fire right now. Because I think for fire, realistically, it's her and Emma, and that's 2 SSRs. But like, even if you've got Kim himself, you're pretty much solid in terms of just tanking and just doing a ton of damage as much as possible. So yeah, kind of wanted to throw that in there and just kind of talk more about light mono, since I've just recently built them all up, and it's now hit me like Chahan's coming in, and light mono is going to be the first typing that is going to be complete. So yeah, get ready to pull her.